Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Hello and happy Friday. Oh, it's so nice to say. It just comes off the lips so sweet, Virginia.
You made it.
Yes.
You didn't die.
You're right.
You thought you might a few different times.
No, the weekends is where you work on dying.
Yes, you're right. That's when you really get after it. Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. Cognizant Classic, Rib Roundup, just a couple things I got on my schedule. But I see other things, too. I'm like, gosh, I don't know. Maybe you could do that. I think the Savannah Bananas are sold out because that'd be a fun thing. I was like, maybe we'll do it on Sunday, but I think it's sold out.
I heard they are sold out.
Mm-hmm. Somebody did comment, said, they're a lot like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
And, it's what it is. And they're making the argument because I think they, like, well, let's be fair to the Marlins. If you had that many games, Savannah Bananas would have the same kind of crowd because after you see it once, it's kind of the same thing.
I'm going to disagree with them on that.
Okay. All right. I've only seen them live one time. I've seen some of their other stuff, and it was different.
They mix it up.
Yeah.
I've heard that they do. It's designed that way, so it's kind of like seeing a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
They're going to mix it up on you. But I understand. It's two different things. Baseball and the Savannah Bananas are two different things, and I understand if you're a purist, because I get it. When it comes to baseball, I'd want that to be pure, but I see why the Savannah Bananas is doing well. It's a great family event.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit out there that people can't bring to their families too.
Yeah, and it is hard to find some good. I notice all the young kid family events are very well attended. Whether it be Disney on Ice or they're doing a movie. Anytime they do a kid movie, it's always number one at the box office.
And if you can figure out how to entertain the parents and the kids, that, no pun intended, is a home run.
It's your win.
Oh, don't. Pun was intended. Come on.
Don't be mad.
By the fact that you said the pun wasn't intended, that was a big strikeout.
And Christine, I am hoping to hear from her this weekend. She is going to the Florida Man Games. It's going to be in a small little town right outside of Jacksonville. Says, my son has a mobile ninja unit, and they will be set up there, so I'm excited to see some of the competitions.
Now, there's sanctioned Florida Man Games, and then there could be unsanctioned Florida Man. I want to see the unsanctioned Florida Man Games, the shit that real Florida men competing.
And what do you do in a ninja truck?
Don't know. Yeah.
What if you had to drive around and fight ninjas?
I saw the video, and there's a lot of people that are dressed comically.
Okay.
It's like Joe Dirt, and their
Yes.
guys were in like cut-off Daisy Dukes and tank tops and belly shirts and all that.
That's what I mean by it's a sanctioned, goofy thing.
Yeah.
The real Florida Man events where, guys are...
They're in their wild. They're in their habitat. Yeah,
but
this isn't staged.
You let those guys go and see what happens.
The real Florida man lives under an overpass.
Yeah, if you have that guy competing...
If that guy's competing, I am watching.
The guy that breaks in the house and is licking people's toes. Like, if you have a bracket of those guys and anything goes, holy shit.
Right. Mm-hmm. I got an email here from Jeremy, and he said, I'm just wondering if your Aunt Ann were alive today, what would she have to say about the episode you had this week on the ATS called Thruple? When you're talking about all three of your dads all together in a thruple.
My family gets what I do.
Okay.
I mean...
Would your Aunt Ann, do you think she would have commented on that?
Yes, she would have commented on it, but she would have forgave me and loved me because I'm a boy.
Would she have been upset? Would she have thought it was inappropriate?
She didn't like the vulgar stuff.
She did, okay.
Especially sex stuff. Yeah, she did not like that kind of stuff, but...
She would probably think I started it, and
you put him up to it.
Yeah, well, it was my idea to have the conversation.
Even though I did start the conversation, you somehow Jedi mind tricked me.
I can't believe we looked on that show.
It's Kevin's fault.
I just can't believe. What do you think that's entertainment?
No, my dad wouldn't. My dad would cringe listen, but my dad would find the humor in it. My dad would find it funny. I don't know if y'all's dad would.
No, I think my dad would be weirded out.
Yeah, see, my dad is used to me being weird. And look, I'm used to him being. I come from a weird family.
Yeah,
we are just
right.
a weird tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And we get it. We get it. We're we're fucking weird.
Yeah. Katie said, I was listening to you counting down the worst of the week, and I think we need to help you guys out a little bit because you do forget a few. You were playing a song, and I was just curious, as you're talking about the artist, who is Teddy Sims?
Who said Teddy? Did I say that?
I think you did.
Oh.
It's Teddy Swims.
I definitely said Teddy. I did say Teddy Sims. Man, I don't know shit.
Sorry. He's a new artist. You know.
That's right. I was saying he was on the podcast with Donell Rawlings.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I said, yeah, Teddy Sims. It's Teddy Swims. You're
Okay.
right. So many new names.
Now, tell me a bit about this Donell Rawlings appearance. You kind of broke it down a little bit yesterday. Now, he's a guy that was on Chappelle's show. He has been in here with us once, I believe. We had him, and I've seen him on other radio shows and podcasts and whatnot.
He was on the Kill Tony podcast, and that's a podcast where they have a panel of judges, and they let a person pick a name out of a hat, and a person gets to do 1 minute of comedy. And a lot of times they will be dicks to the comedian, but that's the flavor of the show.
Gotcha.
And sometimes they can get uncomfortable, but that really is what the show's about. If they think the guy or the woman killed and did a great job, they'll say, hey, you did a good job. But if they think they bombed, they rip on the person, and that's part of it.
Okay.
And I think Donell was drinking too much, sippy, and he walked off the Kill Tony thing and then claimed to say he never did that. He wasn't upset. So that was the first thing that was kind of being talked about. Then he did this other one a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and it's the same kind of vibe. It's a roast battle where two comedians go against each other, but it's good spirited, and you try to go for the throat, but a lot of times that's the name of the game. He was so drunk and would talk over everybody and
So
start
he's
screaming.
drunk on a lot of podcasts. then.
Yeah, and it was coming off unlikable, and you could see Jeff Ross getting uncomfortable, saying, dude, shut the fuck up. And the other guys on the panel were getting annoyed with them. And it was that kind of thing where he was hogging the microphone. Nothing funny was coming out. It was a roadblock. And he was being kind of mean-spirited, too. And the audience turned on him. It just wasn't very good.
He was on SNL when Chappelle was on just a couple weeks ago. I saw he was in that haters skit like he used to be.
And he got pissed off, and some people are saying it's one of the worst performances of a live podcast ever.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Just because he kept on screaming in the microphone and being kind of a dick.
Is that the clip we're going to hear right here?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Donell, no s'more. I mean, no more.
All right, you want to win on the jokes. I don't want to be funny. What I'm saying is...
All right.
Don't worry about it.
Mission accomplished. You got it, baby.
Whatever.
I think Donell just Sandman this battle.
I did. Get out of here.
This is
Jeff,
unsportsmanlike, Donell. It's
Jeff,
unsportsmanlike.
give me a red flag. They need to beat it. They think about jokes. Guess what your funniest joke was tonight? Talking about me. Let me tell you something. I'll say this. I'm not going to leave like that. I'm going to ask you a question. You know what? You said, whoever you said, I'm not Chappelle. You know what? I'm not Chappelle. But guess what? I did. I made Chappelle's show what the f it was. You.
Ashy Larry.
Yo.
Ashy Larry.
Okay.
And I think the other thing, the spirit of all those things is you rip on the comedians and you do that, but you don't tell them you need to quit and you're shit, and that's what he was doing, and you could
Right.
tell
He crossed the line.
Like Jeff Ross was even getting kind of uncomfortable, going, "That's not the vibe of rip on him, make something funny."
Yeah.
But these are up and coming comedians. They're getting their chops.
Right.
So to be a comedian and say, "Quit and you're shit, you fucking suck," and there was no funniness to it.
Yeah.
And it was interrupting other people. It just had a really bad, weird vibe to it.
Now, is that Kill Tony podcast that Ric Flair walked off of too?
So Ric Flair, again, he was hammered. He didn't understand the vibe of the show.
Yeah, he's been publicly drunk in that other video too. Was that a couple months ago? Remember, he was in that restaurant. They were asking him to leave.
Yes, there's
He
a
was
lot of
visibly
video.
hammered in
There's
that
a lot of video of that, and you even have stories about Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He didn't understand the vibe of the Kill Tony show, and
Okay.
and one of the comedians bombed, and they're laying into him, and Ric Flair did that drunk thing where kind of pauses and everyone gets quiet, and he's trying to say something, and
Yeah.
it's not funny. And it's about how he's not going to sit here and make fun of people. That's not his style. And he kept repeating it over and over and over
wow.
again. And yeah, it was uncomfortable to watch.
Okay, so they just ply him with alcohol and let him go.
Oh my God, this is so fucking boring. Holy shit. Ric Flair, can you please tell us a story?
The little sample is it a minute? If you could do that.
You are here with Ric Flair. You are a wrestling coach. How does it feel to have a performance like that in front of Ric Flair?
Actually, to be honest with you, I respect that very much. My son was a great amateur wrestler, and this is why. Come here, guys. This is why I'm leaving after I say this. No, I have more respect for people that take their time to support any youthful athletic event. My son was a great amateur wrestler. He died of a heroin overdose.
Oh boy.
In 2013. I don't need to hear that. I'm over that. But anybody that could take time away from their life, because I believe in my heart.
It's not playing sad music.
What are the... Rick, don't leave. Are you really leaving, Rick? Don't do it.
Oh, no.
Thank you for all the respect.
We lost Ric Flair, everybody.
Oh boy. Well.
I love you, Rick. Thanks for doing this. I'll see you afterwards. No, you're good. You're good. We love you. Make some noise for Ric Flair, everybody. Come on.
Okay.
He didn't realize it was
Yeah.
a roast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're brutal on that show. I mean, when you bomb, they
Right.
fucking rip your heart out.
Yeah.
That's the vibe of the. And Ric Flair didn't know that, so he's hearing all these comedians ripping these people apart, and Rip's like, "I did not sign up for this."
Who is better drunk on the microphone, a Ric Flair or this professional broadcaster?
Got Jimmy in the house. Got Drinking Lincoln in the house. What a great day to come check out some Dolphins football. We would love for you to stop by our table and say hi. We're going to be out here all afternoon. Okay, I've had a few rum and cokes. I'm not going to lie. Just a couple. Oh, this is really like a struggle for me to say. that bitch is good.
At least you're fun and not talking about sad shit.
Okay, well, I know. Could you imagine though, Virginia would have been the only one on the mic and she would have done one of her depressing fears?
Which could happen.
Oh my gosh!
A
Could you
drunk-
imagine? Because there's no one to save her. It's only Virginia on the microphone. This isn't a KVJ event. It's
Drinking
just
Lincoln
her.
was there.
You could
But how is he going to pull you out of a tailspin if you're? Because he was only supporting whatever you were saying. I remember he's like going, "Yeah, Virginia," and he was just the yes man. So if you're going down that road, he probably is going to be like, "Yeah, that's sad."
I wouldn't worry about it back then. I'd worry about it now. If she was hammered and she was going on her own thing,
Oh, right.
I could. That could be, and something's on your mind, and
Oh,
you
no.
bring the darkness with you.
Like, like that comment you made today about that you build up this whole happy story and you're going, but she's dead.
She's dead.
Dead. Yeah, and that's you sober.
Wow.
Imagine you shit-faced. You're in the mindset of, are you ready to die? That kind of mind. Like you were that one night, and you have a live mic. Oh man, I'd tune in.
It could definitely go sideways.
That's where Ric Flair was at mentally. He was drunk and in a dark space, and not realizing it was a comedy show.
Okay. Yeah, somebody said the Kill Tony tour is coming to West Palm in May.
It does massive numbers.
Does it? Okay.
I think it's the #1 live podcast that's out there.
Oh,
might have to check it
wow.
out.
It's a different kind of format. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, might have to go check that out. See what it's like. I gotta look into that show.
It's a unique format.
Okay. Got a couple other of comments here. Dina had sent this in. She said, gotta say, love you guys. Look forward to watching the show every morning. Thank you. I was listening to Jaber talking about the ghosts in his house, and it makes me think of the movie 13 Ghosts. Tell Jaybird if he hasn't watched that movie, he needs to watch it. It is a perfect representation of what's going on in his home.
13 Ghosts. Why do I know that? That's not Nicolas Cage, is it? 13 Ghosts. I'll tell you what's an underrated, low-key, scary movie, and it involves Michael J. Fox, which you'd never think he'd be involved in a good horror movie.
Right.
It's a movie called Frighteners, and it is outstanding.
Yeah?
It is creepy. Yes,
Okay.
it's low-key creepy. You go in there thinking it's going to be kind of like a kid movie. Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Highly recommend it.
Really?
If you're
Okay.
into the horror. Yes.
Okay. There is a movement going on saying that Nicolas Cage may be in his golden era right now. I think they're being a bit facetious, but you were talking a bit, Jaybird, about that one movie that somebody had you watch.
Crazy Legs? Not Crazy Legs.
Is that the one that
it's
everybody
something
was
wild.
saying was so amazing?
It was. People were saying it's the scariest, creepiest movie to come out in 10 years. So obviously, I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
I love Nicolas Cage, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I thought that movie was so goofy ass and so not scary, and he plays a scary, creepy guy, and everyone was saying how creepy he was. I just thought it was Nicolas Cage doing creepy stuff. There's a part where he's singing this creepy song, and I could not stop laughing. It did not scare me at all.
I don't think that's what they were going for.
No, people are going to say, Bird, you were crazy. That movie was scary. I thought it was quite comical. I thought it was kind of funny. I didn't think it was a great movie. People loved it, Virginia.
Wow.
It's not Crazy Legs. It's like Wild Legs or...
Okay.
Someone in the chat room will know.
Yeah, well, he is in a new movie called The Surfer that is some kind of weird concept. I guess him and his son are going to a beach to surf, but you're only allowed to surf this beach if you're a local.
Oh, I love it already. This sounds so cringy. I love it.
Yeah. And so he's got to kind of like stand up to these people who won't let him surf. And here's a little clip of the trailer with Nicolas Cage.
I grew up here.
Dans les vies, dans le surf.
Hey, Dad. It's okay. You're scaring my boy.
Now. No need for all this fuss. Listen to me, brother. I know it's smart to lose face in front of your boy, but you gotta know when to back down, or it could get a whole lot worse.
99 minutes of pure sun-beaten terror.
This is a special place for us. It was magic here when I was your age. My old house is finally for sale, and I'm buying it.
Just want to go home now.
It looks terrible.
So it's pretty much basically Point Break meets Roadhouse.
Yes.
I can't wait.
It looks unwatchable. It looks terrible.
I know what this guy's watching tonight.
I don't think it's out yet. It's I think it's coming to theaters, I think.
Hey, what's funny? I bet you any money if all four of us wrote down what we think the premise of the movie is from beginning, middle to end, I guarantee you we all get about 90% of it right.
It's out in theaters on May 2nd.
So they're promoting it already?
I believe so. I think let me see if I'm seeing the right
That's
thing.
early.
Look, I love Nicolas Cage. I don't want anyone to think I'm hating on him. I think he's a fantastic interview. I think he's funny. So he does some shitty movies. Who hasn't?
They said it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May of 24.
Look, Nicolas Cage has greatness in him as an actor. He does.
Okay. And then May 2nd, it's going to be released in theaters.
The problem with him is he's done so many of those big, cheesy blockbuster movies. He can act. Back in the day, he was very good. He's a great comedic actor.
Yeah. So who knows?Maybe it'll be fantastic.
You ever see Moonstruck?
Yes.
That's a good movie.
That was very good.
Yes.
Yeah, there was something about him. It's almost like he turned a corner and something happened. I think maybe he just was taking bad roles that he had to do to make up for all the spending he was doing.
I thought it started going south with Con Air.
Okay. I remember that. I remember he was a big name then.
Well, he was Southern. He was very Southern, but he didn't really sound Southern, and it just, I don't know.
I loved Con Air.
I know. See, here's the thing about Con Air.
She just loves terrible movies.
Here's the thing
but genuinely loves them.
I did love Con Air. It was good.
I love it too, but I think it's so cheesy and so awful at the same time, but I love it. I watch it every time it's on.
Yeah.
But it's fucking brutal.
He used to live in the French Quarter in New Orleans, and I told you that time I ran into him in a restaurant. I got all nervous and flustered and spilled my beer.
Yeah, I mean,
he was with the Alice Kim at the time.
Okay,
remember he had met that waitress?
Yeah, waitress, yeah.
He fell in love with a waitress. She was waiting on him, and he fell in love and then married her.
Right.
If you want to watch something amazing, type in Nicolas Cage interview on cocaine. It is.
Oh, wow.
It is something. Me and Danny's watching it at least.
Hysterical.
We watch it at least once a week. He does a somersault onto the stage.
Really?
Takes off his shirt, gives it to the host. He's just wearing a leather jacket.
What?
He's winded the whole entire time. You can tell he's got cocaine heartbeat going. I mean, it's insane and it's fascinating.
That's great.
There's no fat on that steak. It's about 5 minutes long. It's worth every second.
I'm about to get on a road trip. I will watch that.
He does this weird thing where he pumps out in the air, but he's shirtless. He's got such cocaine energy.
And somebody's defending the plot line of The Surfer, saying, look, in the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, it's actually that way. There's a lot of real surfing spots that are territorial, and some locals may not allow you, if you're an outsider, to surf in that spot.
Well, that was the script of... remember the movie North Shore? It was a surfing movie
I remember
back
the
in
name
the
of it.
80s.
Yeah.
And it was they had the term Howley. Howley, man. Right. If you weren't native to, I believe, the Hawaiian land, you were a Howley, and it was sacred waters. And
that's where the diner gets their name.
The dude is from, I think, Iowa, but he was badass. Surfer in Iowa because he would surf in an indoor surfing pool.
Oh, I got
Then he goes to Hawaii to see if he's hot shit, and he's not.
Oh, okay. All right.
Guys, you guys don't know North Shore?
We don't.
Man, I know so many shitty movies.
Yeah, you do.
I really... And there's probably no one else listening that knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sure somebody watches shitty movies like you.
One person. And they'll send me an email.
Maybe not to that level.
You're right.
There are some fans, but... And the movies that are not supposed to be shitty are going to be featured Sunday night. Academy Awards are going on. And Karen said, Virginia, you've got to watch The Substance with Demi Moore. It has you written all over it.
I know what it's about, and I agree with you. It's all about, women not wanting to age.
Yeah, doing anything to stay young, doing anything.
Oh, it's like a thriller or a creepy movie?
I think it does have creepy element.
Okay,
yeah.
That's kind of Twilight Zone-y.
I would totally get down with that movie.
They say it's good, but when I say they, it's the critics, and I can give a frog's fat ass about the critics. What do the people say? Do the people like the movie? That's how you know it's good.
Okay.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Fuck the critics.
Sometimes I do like the critic ones too, though. And this awards show introduces me to a bunch of movies, and I always watch them all, and then I end up liking a lot of them.
All I'm saying is, here's your red flag and when you need to be suspect. When you see 90+% critics, and then you see 20 to 30% people, that means they're giving a blowjob to that movie.
Right. Or it's just about like, oh, it was a statement.
Yes, the commenters
some deep statement that we in Hollywood are trying to educate the world because the world is stupid.
Gaia, your script's confusing and we're the assholes. Okay.
Yeah. One text says, Kev, if you haven't watched the latest episode of Severance, do it ASAP. Hands down the best episode of the series and probably of all time episode for any series ever.
Whoa, that's a bold statement.
Yeah. Okay, wow. All right. I did say the last episode that I saw it, okay. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. It started kind of pulled me back in.
So in 10 seconds, could you tell me what that series is about?
Yes, it's people that sever their brains who don't want to remember work and home.
That's right. You know what? I remember you telling me about that. I kind of feel like my brain got severed and I forgot.
Yeah, you got severed from that from my explanation.
Ironically,
there's no memory.
I've heard you talk about that 3 times now. You're right. I am the asshole.
Bird is severed.
Sever brain.
I'm still dealing with that brain fog, Virginia.
I know. Yeah. Me too.
Mm-hmm. And somebody said, sorry, Kevin, another one to add to your TV list. Paradise on Hulu. Sterling K. Brown, James Marsden. Don't watch a trailer. Don't read anything about it. Go into the first episode blind. If you aren't hooked after episode 1, you won't like it. But killer first episode.
It's my new thing. I am against trailers now because they give up too much shit in the trailers. Even YouTube videos do that. I hate that. When you're getting ready to watch a YouTube video, they'll do the first 10 seconds of the main things that are going to happen. Like the meat and potatoes of the video in the first 10 seconds, I guess, to hook you.
Maybe.
To me, that's like part of my French, but coming too quick. If you sort of...
I don't think that was French.
I don't remember that on Siskel and Ebert.
They're giving the orgasm right off the bat. Let's work to this thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. The first 10 seconds is I hate when YouTube videos do that.
Okay. Alyssa said, I know it's not new, but I got another show to watch called Snowfall. I'm watching it on Disney Plus, but I think they show it on Hulu as well. It's so good. It has 6 seasons too. It says, set against the backdrop of the burgeoning crack cocaine epidemic in Los Angeles in the early 1980s, a 19-year-old named Franklin Saint and his family and enemies battle over drugs, money, and deals as a former CIA office wipes him out. Okay, Franklin is forced to rob his own family. He's got to outwit the DEA, the KGB, the CIA.
You do a good movie voice.
I could,
yeah.
A movie voice guy.
That sounds good.
The show ran for 6 seasons and 60 episodes, ending in April of 2023.
Got honey in that voice.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. I think I'd have to punch myself in the face.
If that's all you did all day.
Yeah, but if I looked at the paycheck, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, what's the paycheck?
Yeah, all right, I'm a cheese dick, but you know what? Cheese dickery pays great.
Yeah, it does.
Get that money.
Okay. Got Alberto here. He said, I just want to let Jaybird know, in case he didn't, that the whole season of the Karate Kid cartoon is free on Tubi.
Oh, very nice. They got the Karate Kid movie coming out, which looks to be different than the series, and I'm not feeling where the movie's going.
What does it look like it's heading?
It's heading, I think it's heading to a lot of the new Karate Kid with Jaden. Like, I think they're mixing those two worlds together.
Will Smith's kid, right?
Yeah, I think they're taking those movies and bringing them together, and I'm not jiving with that.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. It doesn't look like it's got anything to do with the series of Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Which is kind of confusing too, by the way.
What is the
fact that they've got a movie with Karate Kid that's not anything to do with the series, and they have the series Cobra Kai and the actors in both of them, and it's both Karate Kid.
That is weird.
It's
yeah, they made that very confusing.
If I'm wrong, let me know.
Okay.
Which I'm sure someone will.
Cynthia in Hialeah said, I wanted to share with you all, especially Kevin, if he hasn't seen or heard of the series called The Chosen on Amazon Prime. Recently found it. My husband and I are enjoying it. It is the life of Jesus Christ, but it's not all sermons. We find it well written and with light comedy. Was wondering if you had seen it. I think I might have. There is a guy that is on a lot of commercials for the prayer app that they have. Mark Wahlberg does some commercials for it, and he's like the new Jesus. He's kind of dethroned James Caviezel.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's just got the whole Jesus, look and vibe, and so he's on for the prayer app, and so I've seen it. It's the one with him. I've seen that show, and it is well done. I mean, they put some money behind it, and the acting's good, and it just tells the life story of Jesus.
If one wanted to watch a movie about Jesus, do you have one that stands out more than the others that you go, that's the one you'd want to watch, Bird?
I'd probably say this, if it's the one I'm thinking about, and I can do a real quick look to see if it's the one in the same. But yeah, I would say it's a series, which I think is better because, you got to know you only got 3 years you're talking about here. But yeah, it's a lot to tell. Yeah, The Chosen is the one I'd seen. It's with the prayer app Jesus, who is just, like I said, it's like he was born to be Jesus.
He has to get his beard insured, probably.
Beard traditional.
You know how like J-Lo gets her butt insured? He has to get his beard insured, I'd imagine.
Right. But yeah, Mr. J brings up that great question of all time, though, is what does Jesus even look like? And all you can do is assume that he'd look like probably a Jewish man of that era. But yeah, you don't necessarily know.
Oh, I mean, they're even saying that they got the whole dinosaur game wrong, that they were fatter and squattier than first thought.
Right. Some more had feathers or something like that they never thought?
There's some that had feathers.
Or hair or something weird like that.
Fatter and not as, I mean, again, no one was out there, and you can only go from, so much with the fossils and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, no one knows. We can't get shit right in real time.
Yeah, it's just, look, somebody came up with the original look, and then that just became the imprint for it, whether it be Jesus or Santa or dinosaurs or, things that, we definitely hadn't seen eye to eye. Just whoever started it, that's the one we all copy.
I asked a question back at station number 1. I really wasn't trying to be cute, and someone got really mad at me. They called one of our bosses. I just asked what if Jesus had a mustache instead of a beard?
Oh, okay.
And they were so offended by that. And I was legitimately asking, do we know for a fact? I was just trying to, and that's why people are afraid to ask questions sometimes.
Yeah.
Because people call your boss and say you're being sacrilegious on the air.
Nobody knows if Jesus had a mustache or not.
I think that was a fair question.
They would say what they would tell you is likely not, because there were not a lot of different beard styles back in the day.
Okay, see, there's an answer.
Yeah, and so it would have been rare. Now, I haven't talked to an expert on that and broken it all down, but primarily I think they just kind of let the beard grow, and that was it. There wasn't really any grooming done with it. So they didn't have the Dollar Shave Club.
No, I could only imagine back in those times no shaving whatsoever.
Yeah. Scruffy, stanky.
If there's beards upstairs, could you imagine what the crotch was like?
Crotches would have been hideous.
Holy shit.
In the first century, yeah.
No thanks.
The BH?
Yeah, and in fact, that's why I would find it hard to believe that 69'ing happened in that era.
Me and Dennis have a whole theory about 69'ing, and
I don't think it was common practice. It's a more modern thing that started with grooming and our bathing habits.
We think butt play was possibly in 69'ing was for people who had money that could get bathed regularly. That's where it could, the royals would do more 69'ing.
You've spent a lot of time talking about this.
We have a 69 quota on Weird and Whatever. It has to be mentioned at least once.
Okay,
yeah.
Oh no!
But we have broken that down so much. What that sex habits had to have changed with bathing and air condition and grooming. Of course, don't you think?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it before, but since you're making me go this twisted way.
But then someone said, Bird, you got it all wrong. The animal instinct.
True.
A human they won't care about bathing and grooming. They'll go for the butt.
I, for some reason, have a memory. I think they had sex toys.
Yeah.
In that era that they found. They're like, oh my gosh, what would this have been used for? And they're like, bend over and I'll show you. And they're like, oh my gosh, wow.
Well, think about it. If everyone's got smelly crotch, then we're all in the same gang.
It's normal.
It's normal. So yeah, maybe I do have it wrong. And maybe we've always been freaks. Maybe we've always been doing...
He wants to get a time machine to go back in time, but not for anything of significance. He wants to find out if they were doing ass play.
Well, every generation thinks they're the ones that discover. It's kind of like the TikTok mentality.
Who discovered ass play?
Or just your basic mish. When do we start getting, with the foreplay?
Crafty.
Yeah, when do we start really trying to have fun and enjoying it and exploring and doing other things other than just mish in the dark?
Okay. That's a great question.
Yeah.
This is probably the next episode of the Godcast. 69'ing in the first century. I think we got it. I call it Pastor Sean.
Oh my gosh. What would he do if you brought up that topic?
Oh my God.
I can't be a part of that.
He's like, Kevin.
You'd have to hang up on
Yeah,
I can't even talk to you.
That might be the one that went too far. We were talking about tattoos, smoking, drinking, all that kind of stuff. I could do that, yeah. 69'ing in the first century.
I would like to go back in time, though, just to see what was it like back then? What were the habits of people?
They know a lot of that. I mean, a lot of it is laid out. So they do have, through just artifacts and whatnot, they've figured out a lot of what the life was like and what they did, how they fished, how they ate, diets.
On YouTube, they've got old film of, I think, like 1908, 1910, 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comments said, "You realize that everybody in this video is dead?" And you're watching and you go, "Yeah, you're right."
It's wild.
It's wild. And everyone dressed so crazy back then.
Yeah.
Everyone dressed to the nines, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was, society was a lot more formal.
Was that how it was everywhere, or was that just the big city? I mean, if you were going to the grocery store, did you doll up and get into a suit?
It was typically going to town. And it was more formal. And the cities, weren't as big. You had a lot more people that were living out in the country. And when you went in, I think they did a little bit more. You'd present yourself. Going to town was a big deal because it was such a chore to get to town that it would be a whole day excursion.
Wow. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It would be fun to go back as long as you were sure that the DeLorean wasn't going to break down and the flux capacitor was going to do its thing.
You were going to be stuck there for a week like Marty was.
Right. It'd be cool just to go and walk around and just feel the vibe and see the everything.
The fact that we could even talk about time travel and it being a possibility is insane.
Yeah, that people don't just immediately dismiss it as there's no way that would happen.
You bring that up 15 years ago, you're considered just a nutcase. The time travel bird, really? Now
they look at you like they looked at Doc Brown.
You're right.
Like he was crazy.
1.21 gigawatts.
The Libyans.
Were they looking at him weird, though, because of his science beliefs or because he was hanging out with a teenage boy?
Because he was hanging out with a teenage boy who he encouraged to sneak out of the house, who he got involved with the Libyans and nuclear waste, plutonium or whatever the fuck it's called.
Time travel was the
plutonium.
least weird thing I was doing.
Can you imagine Rocco? He's 17 years old. And he is friends with this guy in his 50s. And this guy's encouraging Rocco to sneak out at midnight. And he's hanging out with the Libyans who's got nuclear weapons. Are you cool with that?
No, definitely not. But it makes for a great movie.
Cancel Doc Brown.
Yeah.
He was a professor, so it was really more like a teacher-student relationship. I wouldn't look at it the same as if Doc Brown was some rando.
He made some questionable calls, Kevin.
Yeah,
Doc
no
Brown,
doubt.
as the adult in the situation, made some questionable calls.
Yep, no doubt he did. All right, well, Rob and Sue in Seattle are looking forward to seeing Virginia at Lundy Gras. This is going to be their first Mardi Gras. Is there one event each day, Saturday through Tuesday, that you recommend that we do? A certain neighborhood to visit, etc.?
I mean, it really just depends on where you're staying. I would say if you're staying in the French Quarter, most of your activities are going to be French Quarter centric. I would tell you to get off of Canal Street. If you're just watching parades on Canal Street, don't. Go up Tchoupitoulas and go watch them. Just keep walking up Tchoupitoulas.
Okay.
And go watch parades there, because Canal Street gets a little crazy, and that's where all the tourists think they're supposed to stand for the parades, and it's definitely not.
I think I severed my brain again on this one, but did you say what you're going to have for your first drink?
I didn't. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be tomorrow morning at my sister's house. We're going to make something cool and fancy and special.
You got to get confetti, a confetti gun.
You're right. Damn it, how do I get one of those real this quick?
How many days was it? Do you have the number?
It's since December 29th.
Wow.
That's a good little run for you.
So, yeah. Tomorrow it'll be exactly 2 months.
People keep asking me if you feel a difference in your health or with your sleep or your mood.
I don't feel shit. No.
She gets so upset with that
My
question.
sleeping is just as terrible as it was when I was drinking. Menopause has me up and down all throughout the night, sweaty. They were like, oh, yeah, when you stop drinking, all your menopause symptoms are going to go away, bitch. And I was like, really? Oh, my God, this is so exciting. No, they did not go away.
Okay.
They're exactly the same.
All lies, huh?
All of that was lies.
No benefits
so
in critic.
keep drinking your way through menopause, bitches. You're going to need it.
Okay. There you go. All right, leave no doubt.
Giving up alcohol. That was the dumbest experiment.
She's back.
She's back, baby.
She is
I
back.
can taste the booze.
I see a fire in her eyes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we are less than 24 hours away from the first cocktail. I will have my first cocktail before 9 a.m. tomorrow.
There's a countdown clock.
Okay, looking forward to those videos. We'll check in with Virginia, of course, from New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Y'all enjoy your weekends. We'll see you back here on Monday. Goodbye.